All right, Crouton Ramon's House of Math. It's amusing because, oops, and maybe, okay, it is live. I've done a couple now where YouTube, or not YouTube, we're on Facebook. Facebook ate the video because it didn't go live the rest of the way. The wheel of death kept going, but apparently we're live. Okay, so here, I guess this will be the Friday wrap up. A few things. Okay, not financial advice, just screwing around, doing math. And this was me screwing around doing multiplication. And see, we were doing multiplication with this thing. 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6, right? 4, 8, etc. 22, 44. Okay. Do your research. Now, here's the thing. I have several friends now who I know are Bitcoin millionaires because they have many Bitcoins, not just a Bitcoin, but hundreds of Bitcoins. Excuse me. Suddenly I have a case of the hiccups. So the idea is to take your BTC and swap it for the XRP. Why would you do that? Well, because this is now hitting new highs, and there is a very simple thing that goes like this. And it's hard to master, as my sons have found out, because it sounds really simple, but the average person can't do it. And that is buy when things are cheap and sell when things are expensive. This is expensive. However, I will tell you that as long as we measure this in FRNs, it's going to keep going up. There's no question that it's going to keep going up because as we met, it's not that Bitcoin is going up; it's that the dollar is going down. So it costs more. It takes more dollars to buy the same assets. Same with platinum. Same with gold. Same with silver. We'll talk about silver in a second. Okay, but you swap this for this. Right now, this is what, $2.50 or so. Let's say we'll just make it even. Actually, go look. Why don't I just go look? Let's see. Right as we speak, the silver price is at 39.08, so we are over 39. But let's take a look at the XRP price. And the XRP price, is 269. So if I did 250, I'd be low. But right now, 26, the point goes there. 269. $2.69. Okay, if it goes up times, I don't know, 100. So now I have $269 XRP. The chances of this going up 100 times over, say, the next year or two, or three or four, but it won't be 5 or 10, is much. Look at these hiccups. What the heck? I haven't had hiccups in forever. All right. I know how to get rid of hiccups. Oh, shoot. Except I don't have anything to drink. I gotta go get something to drink. All right, fine. But the idea is that the chances of this going up 100 times from where it is now at 100,000, it could happen, but it'll take a lot longer. And it's 100 times 100x. So what is the price of a Bitcoin right now? So I have some friends. I'm encouraging them to sell. Just sell one Bitcoin. You've got hundreds. Just sell one of them and buy some XRP. So let's see here. Let's do because it's reaching new highs as we speak. May have pulled back a little bit today because it's volatile, but it's headed higher. Yes, it was higher earlier. It took a dip, and now I'm looking at a chart. So the idea is, holy cow! All right, it's 117 comma 369, and I'm old enough to remember, and I have when there wasn't even this much. There was certainly no comma. And I remember when it wasn't even this much. You could get a Bitcoin for 50 cents. Yes. Anyway, um, and I was screaming at people when it was at 4,000 to buy Bitcoin. I'm literally standing on desks screaming at people. Literally, like not figuratively, like standing on desks screaming, buy fucking Bitcoin. Nobody like listen. There was that one dude. Remember that one dude? He was like, just buy one Bitcoin, and that was back when it was like $10. Just buy one Bitcoin. Then it was $100. Just buy one Bitcoin. Then it was $1,000. Just buy one Bitcoin. Nope. Nope. Couldn't do it. Okay, I'm not telling you to buy one XRP. I'm telling you to buy a bunch of XRP. But again, if you're listening to some guy on the internet that does math, that's on you. Um, but see, the upside risk is, or the upside potential high. The downside is low because $2.69. I say 100 times is coming. And just the chance of this going up 100 times, multiply 100 times, add the two zeros. So then you got to do 117, 369, 50, and then you got to add two zeros. And now you've got that, and then you got that, and then you got that. One day, that could be $1 million Bitcoin. There's plenty of guys talking about $1 million Bitcoin, but that's not happening next year or 2 years from now or even 3 years from now. But the chance of this going to that, going up 100 times. Oops. Let's put the X over here. All right, 100 times. The chance, these hiccups won't go away. The chance of the XRP, so all that T, going 100 times, much greater. Okay. Just doing some math. I mathed it, and XRP looks pretty good. The other one I really love because of the mathematics is Hedera Hashgraph, H-bar. Go do some research on H-bar. There's no excitement around H-bar at the moment, but there's a whole lot of excitement around XRP. Do your research. Here, I'll put a couple others there. XLM. Do your research. XDC. I really like XDC. I like that. And see, the problem is I like them, but I like them because of the math, and I like them because of other things. Not, and see, that doesn't have anything to do with price. Just because it's a good coin, or a good technology, or a good software doesn't mean anything. Because there's a whole lot of stuff now that we've proven is much better than Bitcoin when it comes to doing what Bitcoin is supposed to do, but that doesn't matter. Bitcoin is the boss. Okay, so, oh, and then one other one, and full disclosure, I actually have money in this one. Well, I don't have money. I have FRNs because there isn't any fucking money. Anyway, Theta. Go take a look at that one. And Theta's just moved. This one's easy to actually make money on if you know how to trade, because it does this. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, and you can make money on those. It's about to go up again. And you can look at the chart and you can see, yeah, it does that, and then it comes down. These are called shark teeth. It does that, and then it comes down. It does that, and then it comes down. Oops, oh, maybe a little more, like that. There you go, and then it comes down. And actually, anyway, go look at the chart. And then way over here, it's way up here, right? Okay, so we're down here in the doldrums, and this is like $1 to $3, $1 to $3. Well, tripling your money is actually pretty good, especially if it does it in a short period of time. And I'm expecting Theta to do another jump just because of all the news and so forth. So better to be there early than to be there late. Okay, so that's that stuff. See, you can do some math. All right, then there's this other thing. It's called silver. Silver is now at $39. Now here's the thing. We'll just call it 39. It's above 39. It's below 39. It'll be it's 39.08 at the moment. It was 39.22. It was a little higher, but in the day it has gone up. Just today, $1.77. I remember when you could buy 1 ounce of silver and have it shipped to your door for $5. What kind of increase is that on your $5? If it just went from $5 to $6.77 today. But see, then there's the time value of money, and that was like 20 years ago. Literally 20 years ago, 2 decades ago. You could buy silver for $5 an ounce. When my boy was born, the older one, you could get 10 coins shipped to your door for $50. And I used to take my tutoring money and I would turn it into silver. Okay, now that tutoring money, just think about it. So when I was charging $25 an hour back in the day, 20 years ago, which was half, literally half of, I keep using literally, you gotta cut that out, half of what my competition was charging. Anyway, I took that $25 and I bought, we'll just say in this case, 5 silver coins. So if I took 2 hours of my tutoring, I could get 10 silver coins. But let's just say I took my 1 hour of tutoring and converted it into 5 silver coins. Okay, well now I gotta multiply this. So I have 150, that's easy. The 5 times the 30. And then 5 times the 9 is 45. So look, I was making $19.50. And everybody teasing me because I was collecting silver. Oh, you're so silly. Dufferin is God. All right, so I was, oops, goes here. So I was making back then, inflation adjusted, every time I did that, $195 an hour. I'm only making $60 an hour now. And even the students, or some of my, what do you want to call them, alkalites, some of the people that learn from me, they're charging $120 an hour now, in today's money. But in today's money, I was making $195 an hour 20 years ago, if I was smart enough to convert my $25 an hour into silver coins. Which is, I don't have any silver coins. These are all the coins I have here. These are just old bicentennial quarters, and they're of some value because this is the only coin the mint has ever produced that has 2 dates on it. So all the coins that have 2 dates on it have are of value. And then some of these coins may have some errors, and collectors collect coins that have errors and pay a lot more than a quarter for them. But anyway, we are breaking out. What has happened, the most powerful, if you're reading charts, formation is the cup and handle. Well, we have a cup and handle inside a cup and handle. And from here to here is like 44 years of this crazy silver cup and handle. And then inside here, we've got a multi-year cup and handle. And guess what? I just put the chart there. We just broke out of at this price. Now here's the thing, folks. I'll put that in red even. The banks are short. They're not just a little short. It's the largest short position. We'll put BB for big banks. 8 banks have like the largest short position in the history of short positions. There has never been in any commodity a bigger short position than there is now in silver. I've learned over the years not to bet against the bankers. So they got something up their sleeve, because they're shorting, and the idea, but see, even if they put it down like from here, they push it down $7, which would be huge. They're still at 32, and I bet you there's shorts that they've taken, where even at 32 they're going to be underwater. But I don't know the actual numbers because it's very difficult. And on top of that, they lie about everything. But the idea is that the bankers are short, but the price keeps going up. So are they going to slam it back down, or which is what they've always done, or are they going to lose control of it? And see, this is the thing too. At $39, um, there's a few people taking profits, but there's hardly anybody that's like, all right, it finally got to 39 and selling it. And I know some people back in the day that waited for it to get to this price before they finally started buying it, and then of course they slammed it down, and it got all the way back down into single digits last time it did this. Except this time we have a slightly different story going on. What we have, and this is a really, really complicated story here with the Chinese. They're mad at us, and they've been mad at us for opium and a bunch of other things. But the Chinese are buying silver like crazy. And on top of that, it's been confirmed now, because anybody can say anything on the internet. They've been going around to Peru and Mexico and a bunch of other places because right now, because of the stupid price of silver, there aren't that many silver mines. What you have is like a zinc mine, and some of the stuff that they, like 10% of their ore is silver. Or you've got a manganese mine, or you've got a whatever. You've got mines that they're not mining for silver, they're mining for other stuff. And silver is literally a byproduct. Literally. He said, using the word literally too much. But the Chinese are buying up the doré. So there's silver that's not even going to make it to market because the Chinese have bought it all up. And they're buying it at this price or higher and sending it to China. Further, because the spot price is so depressed and stupid down here, the people that have been setting the spot price for the last 100 years are losing control of their ability to set the spot price. And that's our buddies. Actually, if you know, you know. Most of you don't know. But it's these guys. The three cities, the empire of the three cities, of which DC is one. And the other one is the City of London, and the other one is the Vatican. If you do some research into that, they want to own everything, including you and your children. Okay, but anyway, these guys no get along. And these guys are the ones that are short. Now, here's this other country. It's called Russia, the Ruskies, the Rus, which has turned into lots of different things. Soviet Union. Right now, we have the great nation known as Russia. They also buying up silver because they don't like our bankers either. Trust me. Anyway, they did a lot of bad things in Russia. One of which was murdering the Tsar and his family. Okay, over here they just sold them drugs, and they wouldn't take anything for the drugs except for silver, and that's how they got the Chinese people addicted to opium, which they would only trade for silver, and they pulled lots and lots of silver from the Chinese. They haven't forgot about it, and trust me, they have not forgotten about it. All right, then there's these other guys who are kind of sort of our friends, but well, how am I going to do this? I'm going to do it this way. We'll do it like that. Okay, the people in India, you never fooled them when it came to gold and silver. The people understand what Americans don't understand is that silver is money. Gold is money. And actually, there's those that say, because they listen to the guy who said, gold is money, everything else is credit. And in fact, if you measure silver in gold, the silver gold ratio is finally getting underneath 90. In fact, let's go look. Let's go see what the silver to gold ratio is. How's these hiccups? I'm enjoying them not at all. Let's see here. Silver to gold ratio. Want to check that? Let's check it. Silver to gold ratio. See, look at me being all ancient and not just asking AI using voice recognition. The silver to gold, and this is the other thing, I got to go find the chart because the AI will lie to you. All right, current, oh, see, it just barely. It is currently 89, 61 at this latest calculation from Bullion by Post. Let's see, let's go to a different website and see if they've got a more updated one. Like goldsilver.com or something like that. Or SD Bullion, there you go. Reputable. And let's see here, the gold to silver ratio chart. Oh, they got a cool chart, but I don't want to fool with it. Let's fool with this one instead. Gold to silver ratio price chart. And we are currently, they say 87.21. That's kind of a big difference. Anyway, so somewhere, or just the bottom line is that it's under 90. And it was above 100 for a little while there. But if you understand that the gold to silver ratio, that's gold to silver. See, look, fractions. And ratios and relationships, because that's what math does, is study it. In the history of the world, the gold to silver price has only been over 100 for like 3 weeks in recorded history. In all of recorded history, about 21 days, maybe 22 days. Anyway, we're back down under 90 at the moment, and we're heading further down. What you're going to see is this price is going to go up, and the gold price is also going to go up, because a lot of people think that the gold price is going to come down and silver is going to stay about. No, because this gold to silver ratio is so out of whack. So again, the concept is when things are cheap, buy them. When things are expensive, sell them. You'd think that would be easy, but you'd be amazed at how hard that is. Plus, nobody was buying this when it was cheap. Everybody was calling me crazy when I was telling people to buy it when it was in the teens. And you're all running around with your masks on and telling me how safe and effective it was and how I was killing grandma by not putting my mask on. Now, we're at 39, which is a whole lot more than teens, and it's going to continue to go on. Okay, or you can believe in climate change. But anyway, the idea being is that, no, this is going to continue further. If for no other reason, if nothing else, if right, the price of silver is going to go up because this is a precious commodity and it's being more and more used up, and we're actually at a deficit. We don't have silver miners mining silver because it's not profitable to mine silver. So again, it's a byproduct for the most part, except for some very profitable mines down in Peru and a couple in Mexico. But in the United States, very difficult in the United States operating territories on the North American continent. Very difficult to get silver out of the ground for $39 and make a profit and pay everybody. Pay your electricity and bills and insurance and everything that goes into running the silver mine. Okay, but that's going to change as the price goes higher. But even then, when the mines come on, yeah, they'll be producing silver and they'll increase the supply. But that's not for 5-10 years. If they decided to break ground today, or if they decided to open a mine, like I know several miners in northern Idaho who have silver mines. I know these guys. I've been to their houses. I've ate at their tables. If they decided that they were going to pull my silver out of the ground tomorrow, it would probably be 5 years if everything went absolutely perfectly. And they got all their permits and everything before they'd start producing silver. Probably more like 10 years, but 5 to 10 years before there's going to be new production coming on from silver-only mines. In the meantime, the price of silver is going to continue to do that. And like I said, even if they're all things being equal, anything you have, chicken, almonds, any commodity, is going to go up because the value of the FRN is going down. Why is the value of the FRN going down? Well, that's because they printed so damn many of them and they continue to print them. And we have this big, beautiful bill that absolutely guarantees that they're going to print and print and print more FRNs. And the more FRNs they print, the less each FRN is worth. And eventually, and they tell you this can't happen, and it won't happen in your lifetime, eventually the FRN goes to zero. The FRN is just currency, and many currencies have gone to zero. I showed you this already? Let me find that. And here's another one. Let me just explain this to you. I'm going to math it for you, since a lot of you guys simply can't do the math. All right, here's this. ¿Dónde está? I'm so cavalier with $10 trillion. Anyway, what you're going to do is what they do. Swap. You're going to go from, let's get rid of all this. But the forces aligned against the bankers, who, by the way, do horrifying things, and they won't ever give you the list of people that do horrifying things, even though we have them on video. What you want to do is take one of these and not trade it for one of these, unless you just want one of these for the fun of it, because look, that's I'm a 10 trillionaire. 5 trillion for me, 5 trillion for Pookie. Except for this trillions is worth nothing. Okay, but there is a couple of currencies where what you want to do is trade one of these, and I don't have one of those notes, but I'm going to soon, for, oh, what's it called? It's called, I can't remember what the symbol is for it. The slang is dong, and I think it's Vindi, Vietnamese dong. Okay, so what you want to do, let's find out. You can get, let's do 20 FRN to VD, oh wait, wrong. VND, and let's find out. And no, it doesn't like my, well, because, all right, fine. I have to use capital letters. VND, so it knows, and then change the FRN to FRN. And today, yes. Download the currency converter. Thank you, New. Fine, let's cheat and see if it does that. Okay, currently, for 20 FRNs, 20. So this is what you're going to do. Not financial advice. I'm just talking. But this is what you would do. You would take your 20, and then you could get, lie. Okay. One of those, not two of those. We used to have these up until 1971, but then things changed, and now we have that. They hide nothing, you just don't know what the symbols mean. Anyway, 522,290 we'll just leave it at that. We'll put zeros. Okay. So see, technically you can't, but just think if I wanted, and I don't, but if I did, how much paper it would take for me to convert this just into 10 trillion single Zimbabwe dollar notes. And so they'd be this size piece of paper, and I'd have 10 trillion of them. See, that's the magic of paper. That's the illusion. That's the Babylonian money masters. Because now it's the same piece of paper. They change the numbers on it, and you think it's worth more of these because the piece of paper they put some numbers on it. All right, but if you have 20 bucks, you could get okay. Now, right now, it's $20. So your downside risk is $20. I don't know about you, but I've bought shots for $20. Not anymore, but easily I've bought a single shot of alcohol for $20. Okay, rather than do that, or maybe a case of beer. Let's talk about a case of beer. One less case of beer on 4th of July. One less pack of fireworks on 4th of July. 20 bucks. You turn the 20 bucks into 522,000. Right? So these things are worth nothing at the moment. So you want to buy them when they're cheap. And then, if there is in fact a revaluation, and people are saying that there will be, where it goes into parity, right? And can you do the math? How many that? So then, what's the math? The math is, well, what's one dong in dollars, or what's one, right? Could you do it without a calculator? They want to make sure that you can't do it without a calculator. They want to make sure that you have to have a machine involved so you can do the math. And then when you don't have the machine, you can't do the math. Oh, we'll always have the machines, don't worry. Okay, I'm not so concerned. I don't believe that. I don't believe you're always going to have the machines. The more things change, the more things stay the same. But some things change. And having a device in your hand that takes pictures, and it's a computer and it's connected to everything else, yeah, it's an excellent thing, and you should take advantage of it while we got it. Okay. Now, this is for my friends in Cali. And I'll put a video down there and you watch it. Why reinvent the wheel again? But basically, if you're in the San Joaquin Valley, you're sitting on the bottom of a riverbed, or not a riverbed, an ocean bed, and San Francisco up here, San Diego down here, and if there's an issue where the ground moves just a little bit and the ocean pours in, and here's something I heard recently, is that's interesting, a different way of looking at things. The water sits on top of the land. We know this. And then the land rises and falls. The water stays basically the same, but the land underneath it rises and falls. And we have lots of different evidence of this. Tiwanaku is one place where clearly it was at sea level, and now it's way up in the air. But the idea is that the land falls just a little bit, or if we have an earthquake, or if, right? And the ocean, just like in the Mediterranean, this is a hugely populated area of California. And there are rumors, you want to talk about conspiracy theory, where the part of the reason why the corporation is doing such insane things in California is to get you to move. All the corporations, all the big companies that are important to national security are already gone, if you notice. And it's because of politics, not because there could be a disaster. And I can tell you, because of this, see, I'm just a crazy guy on the internet. Don't listen to him. Because of this little concept here, the fact that we have two, what will we call them? Solar systems? Technically not, because Sol is this one, and this one, not sure who it is or what it is. But it's probably a binary system, and every 138 years or so, some of the objects from this bisect some of the objects that are going around here, our planet being one of them, whether you believe in flat Earth or globes or whatever. 138 years is a pretty easy now to pinpoint cycle, and 138 is a really strange number when you get right down to it. 138. Do multiples of 138. But the last time it went around, the date was 1902. And you can take a look at all the crazy stuff that happened in 1902, 19 into 91, 1901 to 1902. Okay, so the next one will come, just doing some really simple math, in 2040. But before 2040, there's going to be some stuff going on. Just like right now, as these things move into our magnetosphere and get magnetic lock with our planet, you're seeing crazy fountains on Big Island. You're seeing multiple volcanoes going off all over the world. There are signs. Let's get rid of this. But see, the reason why they're doing this is so that they can do this, because they're going to do this. I guarantee it, and they're going to do a whole lot more than $20 at a time. I promise. It's millions. And there's more to that too, because if you do a little recent history, never mind what happened in the 60s and 70s, but if you do a little recent history, the, what would you call him? Emperor, king, sultan of Vietnam's daughter took a few of the stupidity things that we had happening. She took a couple of these, wound up in a coma. I'm pretty sure she's dead now, and he's pissed about it. And this is the old echelon, the emperor of Vietnam, or the king, or I mean, do the history of that area going way back before the French and the English and so forth cut the place up into Laos and Vietnam and Cambodia. And you'll see, anyway, the bottom line is he's pissed because his daughter's dead. And there is some recompense going on there. So in the future, there is a possibility, it's not a 100% chance, but it's more than zero, that they take the dong and make it worth $1. Now, here's the thing. When that happens, this $20 isn't, right now you're having a hard time with this $20, because I can remember when I would have this $20. In fact, I remember way back in the day, I think it was probably like 1975, I had a $10 bill. Somebody gave me a $10 bill, like for a birthday or for something or another, and I had $10. And I went to Kathmandu Center in 1975, and again, I was king of the world because I had $10. Could buy all kinds of stuff for $10 in 1975. Now, if I had $20 at that same mall, I couldn't hardly get anything. Think about it. They do it in part, slowly by slowly. Most of you listening to this weren't born in 1975. Okay, and what I'm telling you is that this is going to become worth less and less because they're printing more and more of it. So what you do, and what they do, is they swap into something else that currently is worth less. Because look, you need 520,000, even just round it off, 500,000 for 20. Okay, these aren't worth anything at the moment. But if they revalue them to the point where they're worth $1, and this is the point, is that that when that happens, this 20 is going to be like $1. It's already getting to that point. I mean, I'm not to the point where I can say that I used to be able to get it for $1 and now it costs 20. But there's a lot of stuff that is absolutely meat, for example. What I used to be able to buy for $20 with meat. In fact, $20, I could take a family of 5 to Mickey D's and get change. Now you might buy yourself a Big Mac, fries, and a Coke, and you'd get a little change. But the idea is, and see now that's the other thing. I can go to In-N-Out Burger with $20, and me and Pookie can have uh, a drink, one drink usually, uh, some fries, and two burgers, and get a little bit of change. But I certainly couldn't feed everybody a family of five, and everybody gets a Happy Meal and a milkshake and a hot apple pie and a McDonald and a right. Nope, that's not happening. Not anymore. And pretty soon, you're going to need more than one of these to get a meal at McDonald's. All right. Am I lying? Because the value of that thing is going down because they're printing so much of it. It's not necessarily that the value or that the prices are going up, because actually, with production, and that's the only thing that saved us, is that we've become a lot more productive. So it doesn't cost as much to produce those items. So they've tried to keep it so that you don't recognize the inflation that's happening, because it happens slowly. Because if it happens all at once, people go crazy. And then you get hyperinflations and all kinds of stuff. And see, they are trying hard to make sure that the FRN, the Federal Reserve Note, that these things don't hyperinflate into nothing, where you need a wheelbarrow of them to get a loaf of bread. Because see, here's the thing that you guys don't remember, and I remember this absolutely, that for one of these, where is it? Let's just take one of these. We didn't use these, we used these. Yeah. For one of these, you could get a loaf of bread and change. For this. For this thing right here. I'm not that old. It would have been Wonder Bread, but it would still be a loaf of bread. For this. Right? And I used to remember my grandma would tell me stories about going, when she was a young woman, going to the store with one of these and buying groceries for the family with this. Okay, but see, they do it in slow parts. And there's nobody you can talk to that remembers that, because they're all dead. And soon I'll be dead, and people won't remember or believe that there was a time when I could go to Waihe store with this thing right here. I could get a soda, can of Coke, or Pepsi, but it was probably Coke back then, or Sprite. I used to be a big Sprite fan. A candy bar, or you could get those three-piece candies. They used to have those three little round candies. You get three of those. And then I'd get change, because all of that didn't even cost one of these. My boys have a hard time believing me. And that store in Waihe is gone. The building isn't even there anymore. But there used to be two stores, a theater and a bank in Waihe town. When I was there were still two stores. The bank had just closed, and the theater was long since gone. That was a memory. But anyway, Waihe was an actual town for that side of the island. Now everything moved to Wailuku. But the idea is that 25 cents, this used to buy stuff, because it was made out of silver. And I've told the story numerous times where my mother and father, it didn't take a whole lot of these, but they went out for dinner and had a bottle of wine and steaks, and it was like $3. 1963. Okay. The point is, when stuff's cheap, buy it. When stuff's expensive, sell it. And all you're going to do is swap here, and then swap back. That's all you're going to do. That's all it is. That's all they do. But you can't see beyond the end of your nose. You can't see beyond, next Friday, because you got bills to pay and mortgages or rent or car payments or whatever it is. You got to stay busy and trade your labor for time, or trade your time and labor for money for these things. Right? And now they're trying to tell you that if you work at any stupid menial job, the guy should give you one of these for every hour that you're there, or maybe 25. And they can't figure out that the more they raise the minimum wage, the less this stuff becomes valuable. It's basic economics, but the average person can't do the math. And unfortunately, those average people are in your government making policy. So you're kind of screwed. But the idea is if you save in this, you lose money. If you save in metals, you make money. Simple as that. But lose money if you put money in the bank account. Even for a year, 1 year later, this is worth less. 10 years later, it's definitely worth less. 20 years later, all the 20s that I would have put away, say for my son, in an envelope, and then hand him the cash 20 years later, that cash is worth nowhere near as much as it was when I put it in the envelope 20 years ago. I didn't do that. What I did was buy other stuff, assets, appreciating assets, things that become more valuable over time. Because again, everything measured in this is going to go up in price. Everything. Water, everything is going to go up in price when measured in FRNs. Things right now are going down in price when measured in gold. Is that supposed to be a G? That's supposed to be a G. Doesn't look like a G. Gold, silver, platinum. Right now, it's the other way around. You want silver, platinum, gold. This is currently on a tear. This has definitely been on a tear. And this is about to be on a tear. So if you missed gold and you haven't missed platinum because that's going to go a lot further. Platinum will go parity and beyond gold the way it's supposed to and the way it has been, because precious metals, this is more precious than that, and this is more precious than both of these combined. And they've tried to tell you that silver's plentiful and it's cheap, and no, it's not. And here's the thing: every time they shoot off a missile, I don't know if you know what a monster box is, but look it up and find out what a monster box of silver is. But every time they shoot a missile off, that's one monster box of silver that goes away forever because it turns into, we can't recover that because we vaporized the silver that's in those bombs. Okay, and then there's this other thing. Do we want to talk about copper? And the fact that copper and, oh shoot, now I can't remember it. It's a copper sulfate that they seeded clouds with and then hit them with lasers, and then rain fell like it hasn't fallen in the middle of Texas. See, because they were dropping bombs on you, you'd get upset. But since it's a wildfire or a flood, you don't get upset. And guys like me that tell you that those are weapons are crazy, crazy, crazy. And you guys can be all smug and ignorant. Just the most smuggerant crew. Not so much this page, but you've seen them come through. They're smug as, right, just. And you shouldn't be anymore. So here's a little. See, now I get to the point where free speech. What's that? Anyway, so I have to pick my words and be ginger about it, or speak gingerly, tippy toe and sidestep. But the idea is that a guy named Ed Dow's doing some math. He mathed it, and when you do the math is very simple. For every one dead person. Okay, and by the way, I'm going to admit right here, wrong. I was wrong. I'm absolutely wrong on my predictions. I thought we would peak out last Christmas. Nope, that would be too fast. We're going, there's going to be much more carnage. But anyway, for every one person that, oh, Jesus, terrible. Brah. We'll do that. There you go. All right. Yeah, you know what it is. Okay, so for every person that did that, there will be claims made, 4.5 or more, and actually this number is going way up, of people that are so disabled that they can't, right? They're not able anymore. They're disabled. But there are so many now. Okay, so for every one of these, 4.5 of these. And they're thinking that this is probably going to be about 20 million. Is that number going to be because you guys were so clever and couldn't listen to a guy that did math and listened to guys that pretended to do math? Won't mention any names. Um, and now a lot of you guys so mahaoi, you know, like even come to my website and ask for a password because you were such dickheads. And I know you watch these. And now you're embarrassed. Well, you ought to be. I'd still give you the password if you ask, though. Anyway, there's going to be, these are people that are so disabled they can't work. So, what are people that are disabled that can't work that are U.S. citizens accustomed to doing? The USCs. Um, the U.S. citizens apply for benefits. We'll just put Benny, which is going to stress the federal government. Is going to stress a lot of. They'll just print more money. So if they print more of these to cover the disability claims, what happens to these? And they're saying that this is probably going to be 10 years to shake out. So we're probably not going to see the end of this to like 2037 or so. And this, we're going to have carnage every year for the next 10 years. Carnage. And then out of this, I can't remember what the next number was. Shoot, I should have took notes. But it's more than 4.5 for everyone. See, it's multiples, right? So for every one of these, 4.5 of these, and then I think it was 8 of these that were, actually, I think that was a range of like 8 to 12. Do I have the notes? I might have notes here. Let's look. No. 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 And then what about this? Nope. All right, so I don't have the numbers written down. But anyway, it's more. And see, they're denying that there's even any of this, and they can't figure out why. Why did my friend not wake up? I have multiple friends younger than me, just didn't wake up. I have multiple friends, turbo cancer. I have multiple friends, strokes. I have multiple friends now on heart medication. I have multiple friends looking for kidneys. I have, right? And the number of everybody I know, 75, 80 or above, well, they were going to die anyway. But all those people, all dead. All my friends' parents that were calling me crazy and telling me that I better put the mask on, or they you know, or I was going to kill their parents. Well, they took their parents wearing a mask to go get a shot. Fucking dummies. It's painful. Anyway, the idea is that and then what? A lot of you guys, you did get saline because they wanted you to go, I took the shot and I feel fine. And I feel better. And then you took the next one and the next one. And in Hawaii, four. Because everybody got double vaxxed and double boosted. And they all point to their arms, you know, all doing this. Oh, look, I'm double vaxxed and double boosted. How come you're not double vaxxed and double boosted? How come you don't have a band-aid? Because I'm not a fucking dumbass like you. The time to be polite is past, friends. And just because you didn't doesn't mean, because shedding is the thing. Now, all of this has to do with mathematics because all of this is going to cause them to print more of these, which means these are going to become worth less, which is why you want to swap from this to dong to dinar to silver to gold to any fucking thing but this. Because every single day that goes by, this becomes worth less. And in fact, on my website, if you give me half of this, but in silver, in other words, $10 of silver face, in other words, oh, what do we got here? Oh, I don't have any. Oh, no. How about this? Coins. Oh, here. This is silver. Okay, so $10 worth of this in face, right? So couple of dime rolls, a couple of quarter rolls, maybe some 50-cent rolls, or maybe just 10 silver dollars. And you have all my passwords. If you don't want to give me silver, it's $12.49. Simple. Why is it $12.49? Because I know this stuff is worthless, and it's going to be more and more worthless as time goes by. And the knowledge that I give you, where 100% understand mathematics, is priceless. Because I don't have the some have to fail attitude. I don't have, you look at my students. They wouldn't pay me if after they were done, for 5 hours or 10 hours and they were still just as stupid as when they started and they couldn't do math. They wouldn't pay me and I wouldn't have a reputation. But see, this methodology, 100% success rate of those that want success, because I've had students where they just absolutely hated math, hated their parents, hated the fact that they had to come to me. One stone broke down and said, "Okay, I get it, but this is still stupid, and I don't want to come anymore, and I'm just going to take the F," because he would have had to get 100% on all of his tests in order to just get a C, and he didn't feel like working that hard. And plus, because the parents waited a long time to come see me. Right? If they would have caught me, even in the first quarter, I could probably saved it, but they didn't get me till the third quarter, and it was kind of hard to pull it out by then. But anyway, he did admit that, yeah, he understood it, but he still wasn't gonna. Okay, same thing with my youngest boy, right? Got enough to get the C, and then said, "This is stupid. I'm not even doing this," and still, see, he got a diploma, and my other boy got a GED. Anyway, and both are just pieces of paper, they realize. And now, I have good news. The one boy is in fact earning. Well, I don't know. Anyway, he's not full time by any stretch of the imagination, but he is in fact earning money teaching mathematics using this methodology. And he could be making money. I told him, bro, I got guys that are dumbasses. I mean, we won't mention any names, but complete and utter dumbasses, and they're making $6,000 a month doing this. So I told him, look, all you gotta do is get students. There's more than $6,000 a month in students on Maui at 60. Let's do the math. What is that? 60 times 100. So that means that we'll just go with 28 days. Actually, let's not even go with 28 days. Let's go with 25 days, 5 days a week. We're not working weekends. We're going to the beach on weekends. Well, not here in Arizona, but okay, so we've got 25. So what does that mean? That means 4 students a day is 100 classes. So you work in the afternoon from like 2 to 6. I used to do this. Maybe 3 to 7. Or maybe 2 to 8. Anyway, the idea is that you need to do 25 students, 5 students, right? Or maybe, anyway, this is not a big business. This is not thousands of people, right? Because those 25, it's not 25 different students, probably. It's probably going to be the same student once a week. So anyway, do the math. I have a website that can make it so that you can earn this kind of money easily. The one thing that you're going to have to do is convince parents who have little ones to give you money, because they can't understand that there's windows of opportunities that close and that you really want to get them. Like, I'm so happy to have McCrae at 7, because even if I only have him for a little while, I'm going to change that child forever. But if I have him for 3 years, he'll get to the point where he can teach himself math, including calculus. He'll get to the point where he can teach himself stuff, because I'm going to introduce him to the concept of the trivium. Okay, they don't want you knowing about the trivium, and they certainly don't want you being able to teach yourself math. Oh my God. That does not serve them. I know that's crazy talk. And
it's just a conspiracy theorist. He wouldn't put a mask on, and he told us the shots were not safe and effective. We don't have any idea why these people are dying, though.
Anyway, my youngest boy has figured out that, you can make some money doing this. And he's giving me a hard time about my website. I love it. Your website's hard to use. Like, all right, then if it's so hard to use, why don't we work together and design a better one? Oh, that's too much work. He's got other stuff to do. Plus, he wants to travel. Okay, the older boy, on the other hand, was saying that he didn't want, and then he realized that, see, because here's the difference. The difference is that they know some math, but they don't know enough math, and they realize it. But they know it. See, what you guys did was memorize. And then when you memorize, you turn around and forget. But see, over here, if you've had your hands on it, you'll never forget that because I've played with this and right, if this is 30 degrees, this is 1 to 2. And that sine of 30 degrees is a half. Oh, that's just stuff that nerds know. Right? And then I can look at this and now if I've got x squared, right, and being able to do that, get my hands on it. So symbols like this are not scary. It just means make a square and count a side. But see, you know it. The children will know it. Your sons and daughters will know it. See, because what they want is kids. And kids memorize and forget. And I know lots and lots of people in college that memorize and forget. In fact, I have a few parents that sit down while I'm teaching math and watch me teach math and like, wow. I never learned that in college, even though I took whatever it was, trigonometry, or whether I took algebra. Because they never learned how to do ratios. They never understood relationships. They never got their hands on these things, ever. So they didn't have as good an understanding. All they did was memorize, and worse than that, you memorize. Where am I going to put that? I'll put it over here. Symbols. And then you forget the symbols. Over here, you see, and let's say you can see the red square. But see, this is the thing. A lot of times, and I just watched this video, and there's some issues in the video. I should put that video underneath. Anna just put it up recently. It has Dale Mason and others. I know most of those people. Some of them I have met. Some of them I just knew of them. But most of the people in that video that Anna put up, that's the time that I was there. Anyhow, there are some issues with that video. Actually, there's some mistakes in that video. And we let it go because that video cost a lot to produce. Like, a lot to produce. Vicky down there in Coeur d'Alene. Oops. Victor. Vicky would punch you in the face if you called him Vicky. His name was Victor. Vic. Vic, don't call me Vicky. Anyhow, the idea was that they made all these videos and so forth to try to get people to understand that, hey, there's a way to teach mathematics. Because the problem is that most people, when I say x squared, 3x, and 2, that's what they see in their mind. They see x squared, 3x, and 2. And this time I will use literally, because I mean literally, that they will literally see. They don't have some. Now, if I put something like, let's just do some simple symbols. Oh, look. And then I tell you, close your eyes and visualize a cow. Your cow might not be the same as my cow, but I guarantee you, you're not looking at COW in your mind. You actually see a cow because you know what a cow is. Now, here, you don't know what an x square is because the whole time you're in school, they never showed you one of these. Oh, it could be one of these. But we use this color for other stuff like decimals and so on. But the idea being is that one of these, you get a picture of it. And then I can draw a picture, and I'm going to draw it monochromatically. And you can see, oh yeah, I turned it into a rectangle. And you know it. You know that if this thing is x squared, 3x and 2, and one side is x plus 1, well, it's actually that x plus 2, then this side has to be x plus 1. And the same way, oh, we hate long division. 12, because it's hard. It's hard. Because nobody told you that that was a rectangle. And that this is the across and down. Here's your across and down. And then I had some people that tried to teach this lesson. They couldn't figure out the across and down. They tried to make it their own because, you know, since they get all caught up in the symbols, this must be the x. This must be the x plus 2, or this must be the 12. No. And then the other thing I'll say in that one video, just a little errata that we didn't correct, and it's just like leave it, especially since it was subtraction, where there's you believe how much issue there is over subtraction. Let's say something as simple as subtraction. Let's say I have, oh, let's make it 100. Hey, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna use some, and then I'm gonna quit. I've gone past the usefulness. This one? Yeah, sure. Looking for some Play-Doh. No, I got better Play-Doh than that. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. Got some nice sticky Play-Doh. So if I have this, this is the at the end. If you made it to the end, you get a bonus. Here's the Easter egg. And by the way, Jerry caved on, everybody caved on this, except me, because alrighty. Are we there? Yes. All right. Let's just do that. All right. So we'll say, I'm just trying to get it to stick. I really got to go get my magnetic blocks. Let's just say I have 130. Keep it easy. And I want to take away, so let's use symbols. I have 130, and I want to take away 50, oh, I don't know, 3, just for fun. All right. We're not going to get out 53 and put, no. What we're going to do is we're going to do what it says. And I didn't tell you what it says. This could be that could have been plus, minus, multiplication of it. All right. No, it's 130. We have 130 Boy Scouts, and 53 of them are killed in a flood. Let's see. So, let's see. What I got to do? Well, I'm going to have to build one of these 10s. Oops. With a 3. I know this. And see, I already know there's going to be a 7 hanging around. But let's get this here. Okay. And then I'm going to have to break this one up because I can't take it out of the 3. I couldn't take it out of these. So I'm certainly going to have to take it out of this. So now what I got to do is instead of having one of those, I'm going to, oh, I do not. Ah, shoot. You saw the mess that was in front of me. There's a 30. There's a 40. There is no 50. Well, there is, but it's way over there and I can't reach it and I'm not going over to get it. So we'll just use the 40. So that's 40, and it should be a 5, but it doesn't matter. I'm just building it so that I can take 5 out. And see, what I should do is have the 100 and have 2 5s, which means that I'd need 2 sets of multi-10s, which is why I always tried to sell, not because I was selling plastic and making money for the company, but because you need 2. 2 is better. All right, so there's 50 right there. And now how much do I need? I need 50 more. Do I really not have? I really don't have. All right, fine. I've got my 80 block and my 90 block and my 70 block and my 60 block, but of course not my 50 block. Nope. Not there either. All right, fine. Be like that. I don't care. But see, doing it this way, yeah, it takes a little longer, but so what? You get the understanding. And then every time, see, the first couple of times you do it, it's slow. But after that, it's fast. And then pretty soon, as you may see in that video, they're doing it faster. Right? There's plenty of times when I've had room full of as fast as I could put the problem on the board, is as fast as they solved it. All right, what do I have here? And I'm up to 80. Let's grab another one. Now I've got 90. And then I gotta put one more. See, and I'm doing all of this to make the last part super easy. I've got one more. All right, fine. Finally, there's my 100 now. See how much easier it is to just grab that. But let's see. All right, now what do I gotta do? Well, I gotta take away 3, and I gotta take away 5. I can take these two, right? But I gotta take 5 tens out of there. So I gotta take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do I have left? Let's see here. 1, 2, and 4 is 6. 7 tens. 7 tens. And 7. Oh, it's just 77. Let's do it again. Now that I know. And that's one of the questions you could ask the students, actually. Can you think of a faster way to do this? Sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no. So here's my faster way to do this, just because I happen to have one of these handy. 77, there it is. Okay, and then we're gonna go backwards. So now I have 77, but I want 130. So see, while you're doing the problem, they're doing math. So here's my 100. So how much more do I have to add? Well, I have to add 3 tens at least, right? And do you see how this would be faster if you had multi-tens blocks? And see what we're doing here is analysis. All right, there's those 3. Let's move you over a little bit. And then I'm gonna put this guy back, which would be the 3. Right there like that. Okay. And then, oh, now I have 110, but I need 130. So I need 2 more of these. And see, I don't even have a 20 block laying around. Really? Mooey, did you hide the 20 block? Yes, I see. I need a couple of trays where I can just grab them. That's why the trays are built like that. And I don't have them. I have a black bag, and they're flat. And then I don't have the... Really? Nope. Not over there. Over there. Nope. Got this one. We'll put them up just for fun. It's a 10. It happens to be flesh colored. Like I said, the day I heard the story about that block is the day me and Jerry Mortensen became friends forever. And then here's the old school where you can actually pull these guys apart. But anyway, these are old blocks. All right, so there's 130. And now I can see that I got to take out 5 of these and the 3. So I take away the 3. I take away 5. That means 2 of these. Uh-oh. That means 2 of these. Put you back. And I took away 2, so then I need to take away 3 more because I need to take away 5 tens. Oh, look, I'm back to 1 cent. All right. Super easy to see. Something this easy. I said, you guys have no idea. So when I do this, I'm not going to have 100 3 tens and then underneath here put 5 tens and 3. That's not, no. That looks to me and to students, that looks like 183, which is not what we have over here. What we have is 130, and I'm going to take away 53. So I get rid of this. And see, I'm not going to borrow. I actually had this happen, and I have it on film, where I showed a little girl this, and she told me to cross that out and do that. I said, are you crazy?
Well, that's the way they taught me in school.
All right. And that is the way. But she couldn't see that. Didn't know why it even bothered me. But anyway, the idea is that If I take 5 from 13, I'm going to have 8. Why am I going to have 8? Well, because I'm just going to add 5 to the 3, and there aren't going to be any 10s because I had to take that out of one of the 10s. So again, even just something simple as this, math teachers out there, you can't do because you've got some kind of idea where you have to show all the symbols. The symbols are reflecting reality, not the other way around. So now what I got? What I got is 10, and I had to build my 10 with a 5. And here's the 3. Okay. I can't take a 5 out of the 3. So of course all I'm going to do is just add 5. Done. Too hard. Too hard. That's too much for the liberal math teachers where math is hard. It's hard.
It's 5 and 3. That's hard. That just look 3 and 5. Oh God.
You know, some of them have to fail. Only a percentage should get A's, and then some of them will have, you know, partial understanding, and then some of them will be, you know, average, and then, you know, 60%. What's the average? Does when they take algebra?
Algebra's hard. You don't want to teach the little kids algebra. You'll ruin them. You don't want to spoil their childhood by teaching them algebra when they're young.
The average grade for algebra, first time through? What's the average grade? The average person fails it. If you teach them using the standardized, acceptable.
You wouldn't want to use
Too much hassle to get these out. I mean, we get our blocks out maybe twice a year. Much too much hassle. Every week I was in there with second graders and we got the blocks out and we did math and had a fun time, and I have some documents of it. You know, I have documented a little bit of video and some pictures, but you know, they wouldn't let me take video and pictures, so I can't prove to the teachers that yeah, we could do that constantly. We could do that a couple of times a week. I would have been in there 5 days a week, but they didn't want me in there 5 days a week, so I was only in there once or twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. Because, you know, they had to fit me in. And then it turned out all the students that throughout the rest of their academic careers did really well in math. You could track the kids that were classmates of my sons because I went in there 2 hours a week and made a difference. And guess what? Most of those students did not get an F when they took algebra because back in second grade they remembered, oh, wait a minute. And I have one student that's actually in college right now, classmate of my son's, and he's doing engineering, and it's 100% your dad turned me on to math. Okay, I have a website, 1249, brand new cuss, 1249, where you can learn mathematics well enough because you will master the mathematics. It's not like how you were taught in school. And you'll be able to give them simple concepts where they can see and know when I say ridiculous things that I'm being ridiculous. I'm not even going to do it. Enough with this presentation. But the idea is you got to get your hands on the blocks. Maria already won these arguments. And if you're thinking that the blocks are optional when it comes to learning mathematics, well, you're thinking incorrectly. And there's a bunch of people who are struggling because there's this other system out there that took this and broke it into 12 steps, and then at the upper end of the steps, they don't show you this. Okay, that's your Friday wrap-up. There will be a 7th session Sunday. I never did get the 7th session done because everything said, eventually you learn not to not to struggle. So apparently I got 6 sessions done, and this Sunday there will be 7 more sessions, and hopefully I'll start much earlier because the 7th session I did was at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and then it turned out it wasn't recording. So I kind of lost it. But anyway, the idea is Crouton Ramon's House of Math.com for more. You might want to take a look and try to master this one concept. And the concept is cheap and expensive. All right, what do you do when it's cheap? What you do when it's cheap is buy. What do you do when it's expensive? Sell. So just do some swaps. Swap this for something else, and then swap that something else for this. It's the same thing. Swap this for silver when it was $5, and now you can swap silver for $39. So if you bought 4 of these, because 4 times 5, then you could have $39 4 times, which is more than this. Of course, you would have had to wait a long time, and there were many other opportunities. But unlike this, if you just put it in your bank, you lost money every month and every day. So there's your takeaway. Buy things when they're cheap. Dong are cheap right now. Dinars are cheap right now. Silver is cheap right now. And sell when it gets expensive. That's it. Basic math. Okay, so I mathed it for you. You have no excuse. Crouton Ramon's House of Math.com for more.